This video is about how to install the Final Nights, and the first thing you want to do is delete everything from a previous install of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, with or without mods. So first thing I do is delete anything off my desktop. Then I'm going to go into Program Files, Steam, Steam Apps, Common. This is where your Steam directory is. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, highlight that, and then hit delete. The best way to have a stable game of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines or the Final Nights is to start with a clean install. Next we go to Steam, right click, Properties, Local Files, Uninstall Game. This will clean the game off of your computer. It will not remove it from your library. Just uninstall it from your drive. Next, we're going to reinstall a fresh and clean game by clicking on Install and making sure it's going to my Steam directory, which is on my D drive. It's all good. I agree. Manage downloads, and it'll tell me how much time I have before it gets installed. It's usually not very long. Okay, now it's installed. So I type in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, The Final Nights, and I see this link. I also see a fine video by Something Compass, which everybody should look at. Look at all the videos by Something Compass. So the very first thing that comes up is this link to ModDB. That's the one we want. It takes us to this page. It should look just like this, The Final Nights. And this is the first page, but this page is not the page where the game is. That's under Files. We click on Files and we see 1.6 HD. Click on that and you'll see a thing that says Download Now. You always get an advertisement. It'll take just a moment and it'll start downloading. I'm using Chrome and this is what it looks like when you download a file using Chrome. This will take a few minutes. When it's finished, I click on it. It'll take a little while to activate. You often get this screen, Windows is protecting you. You click on that more info thing and it says Run Anyway. You click on Run Anyway. Typical Windows menu. Now we're into the Final Nights. Yep, we want this. Next, please. Next. There's a long page of all the changes. Now, there's an important thing here. The reason he wants you to check this is because there's a thing that he shows you. This is Zeromorph. This is what you have to do. You have to add -game, then a space, TFN, to the location of the game in your icon or your shortcut to start the game. If it doesn't have that, the game isn't going to start. Now, fortunately, in the past we had to add that manually, and I'm going to show you where you do that if you want to set up a shortcut of your own. But Zeromorph gives us, with the installation, a shortcut, a desktop shortcut that takes care of that for us. We don't have to do anything. Okay, my game is not on C, it's on D. So I have to tell the mod to install in my D directory. And it's always the same place, Steam, Steam Apps, Common. And then click on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines and say OK. Okay, now I have the right directory, Program Files, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. The default might send it someplace you don't want it to go, so make sure it goes to the right place. It has to be where your Steam directory is located. Okay, so we install that. Takes a little while. Yep, it's telling me everything's looking good so far. exit. Okay, so we have installed everything now. I also come over to my documents. I also click under View. This is under the View tab, File Name Extensions. Under Documents in my game, there might be a save file. I make sure that there's nothing there for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. There should be nothing there. Okay, I click on the desktop that's installed by the game, by the mod, and it already has the dash game TFN already attached. So I don't have to do anything. It's starting in the directory where I have my games, which is D, Steam Apps, and so on. The normal place you have Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. So everything looks good here. And you don't have to type in dash game TFN. It's already done with the desktop that comes with the installation. So I click it. You notice that you get the unusual thing that you're not used to seeing if you don't play Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. This is all the same. And then the game looks like this. So the first thing you want to do is go into options. The game is set, or the mod is set to play at 1920 by 1080. And we're at 1920 by 1080. The mod normally shows up here. Right under gameplay, it should say The Final Nights 1.6, but it doesn't for some reason. I always reload to give it a chance to show up, and I reloaded and it still doesn't show up. I don't know why. The mod should always show up under gameplay. I am dialing up gamma to make the game brighter when I make videos. That's just something I do because I make videos. I turn off the environmental effects because that adds an echo, background echo into the game. You might or might not like it. I'm going to have to change the hotkeys. But one of the things I always do right away is remove the F2 key as a hotkey, because that's the key that I use to start recording. So I don't want to accidentally turn off recording, so I just look for F2 and delete it. So I'm going to go directly to the character sheet. It looks good. It looks like it should look. This is the character sheet. Yeah. Looks like we have a good install. I'm a little bit concerned about nothing under gameplay. So again, I'll leave something in the description if Zeromorph lets me know why it's not showing up. The mod does give you a shortcut, but if you want to have your own shortcut for some reason, this is the execute file, and we're going to create a shortcut, and then we're going to move that shortcut to our desktop. Now this is not necessary because the desktop that the mod installs automatically will work, but just in case you want to do this, you can. Now if you click on this right now without modifying it, it will just take you to a very broken version of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. You will not play The Final Nights. So we have to add something. And what we have to add is, I'm going to show you, we'll come over to the right desktop, and it says dash game space TFN. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, including the quotation marks, so I have that in the right place. Just to make sure it's in the right place, it has to be right next to the execute. It has to look just like that, so I don't have to type it in. And it does not exist in this shortcut. So this is not necessary, but just in case you want to do this, I'm now looking at the entire target and it's correct, everything's right. I can just paste this in and then get rid of one of the quotation marks. So I have two sets of quotation marks, I need to just get rid of one. And that's perfect. You can type it in by hand if you want to, but I just copied and pasted it. Apply and OK, and it should all be good. In fact, it is all good. Now I can use either one of these. Doing the second one was unnecessary, but just in case you wanted to, I wanted to show you how. So neither one of them now, both of them work, but neither one of them give me the mod under the gameplay, which is kind of odd. Yeah, I have all the settings. By the way, when you change anything in the options, you have to exit out and come back in for any of the changes to take effect. Okay, I've already pulled the game manual out, but this is how you do it. You just pull it to your desktop, and it's worth reading. There's a ton of information about all the changes in the Final Nights, and it's definitely worth your time to take a look at it. So I click on the game. It takes a moment for it to start up. This is what the screen will look like. Now these histories are really important, especially for the Assamites. This changes the cost for perks in your game. So the amount of XP you have to spend for everything changes. Whatever you focus on, whatever category, knowledge, skill, or talent, will cost you less in XP, and the other two will cost you more in XP. So yeah, it really changes the game, and you have to think about what you're going to concentrate on. And in the Final Nights, finance is important. Well, you have to decide what kind of a character you're going to have. This is based on the basic patch, not the plus patch. The basic patch already has less XP than the plus patch, and then in the Final Nights, the amount of XP you get has been nerfed even more. So yeah, I'm thinking about, for this character, I'm going to focus on, like the last time I focused on melee, this time I'm going to focus on investigation and put more perks into finance to start, I think. Yeah, it's up to you what kind of a game you want to play. I'm just thinking out loud. So, and the stats you see on the left affect the feats that you see in the right column differently than the vanilla game. So that's important to know too. So pay attention to, if you want to dial up defense, you know, what dials up defense, what dials up finance, what dials up different feats might be different in the Final Nights. So something to think about. The different disciplines are all new. They do new and interesting things, and you might want to take a close look at those too. All new clans, new disciplines. Disciplines have been changed. Yeah. You want to take some time and really think about what they do and how you're going to use them in your game. So, with that, you have everything you need to get started in your game of the Final Nights. I hope this was helpful, and hope you have fun in your game. Thanks.